So this is the family stout. Nice pint. It's not too strong. Good stout. Good taste, but without the strength, or without the excess strength anyway. Well, I'm tasting the experimental beers. I'm on number 5 at the moment. Number 1 and 2 were not so bad, not fantastic. 3 was a lot better though. I really enjoyed number 3. Could have had a pint of that quite easily. Now I'm on number 5, which I'm also enjoying. So I think maybe the higher the number, the more I'm into it.
Is building forums. Hops are frail and insecure. They can't even stand on their own, and a strong wind or heavy rainfall could destroy the entire crop. On the ground, they're prone to mildew and rot, and bugs will tear them apart. But try to harvest this weak and feeble plant, and that's when it decides to fight back. George Orwell plants the crops in 1931, and in the diary he kept his experiences, later as an article from his statesman.
Well, that was a very interesting talk from Pete Brown. A little bit of shame that not everybody decided to pay attention to it, but I guess when there's beer going around, that's what tends to happen. Interesting tasting of the 5 experimental beers as well. Not all of them were to my taste, but a few of them were decent. And now I'm on to the Summer Pearl, which is one of Westerham Brewery's standard range, and I'm enjoying that. That's pretty decent. Had a hot dog, that's always good, and I'm drinking it amongst all the brewing equipment, as you can see. So, you know, you can't really beat drinking beer that's actually been brewed right here. Not much of a supply chain to this one. It's really literally right here. So I'm going to carry on drinking this, and might check back in a moment if I get another beer, which I probably will. So cheers. Okay, so now I'm on the British Bulldog, which is obviously one of Westerham Brewery's main brews. Obviously, given the locality and the fact that Winston Churchill was from Westerham, or lived in Westerham. I'm not sure if he was from there. My history is not really that good, especially when I've had a few of these beers. And it's just a really lovely wine, really nice. Obviously my preferred beers are sort of stouts and porters, but I'm really enjoying this this beer. Decent, and you know, as I've probably said before in this video, you know, you can't help but appreciate the fact that you're drinking a beer in amongst where it was produced. You can't get much fresher than that. So I'm really enjoying this, really enjoyed the evening, and it's been pretty good. It's been really good. Enjoyed the talk from Pete Brown, and the tasters, and also the beers that have been going. Yeah, it's been a pretty good evening. Really enjoyed it. Westerham Brewery is a decent brewery. They make some lovely beers. So I'm back from Westerham Brewery, back home, and I had a really great evening. It's a good night. Good to taste a lot of their beers, their standard range, but also the experimental single hop beers that they had. Even if not every single one of them was to my taste, it was still really interesting to taste all 5 of them. A few of them were particularly good, and great to have the to see the talk from Pete Brown as well, and hear a section from his book. Which is very good, very interesting. And I had a chat there with a few people as well. Pete as well. I had a chat with Pete, and talked to him about hops and beers and his favourite beers and things like that, although he was very particular about not having necessarily a particular favourite beer. And a few guys from the Westerham Brewery, as well as also a couple of guys who were there from a couple of other breweries, such as Dark Star, there for an evening. And I think that's really nice as well. I think it's nice to have this kind of evening with guys from other breweries. That's the thing about the craft beer industry, is that it's a nice. I mean, obviously there are a lot of collaboration beers, but also these guys don't. It's not all about the rivalry and the competitiveness. You know, they go to other people's events, and I mean, these guys were openly wearing Dark Star jackets or t-shirts and things like that, and there was a guy from 4 Pure there that I didn't manage to speak to, but you know, basically they're not hiding themselves, not being spies and trying to sort of figure out what's going on with the other industry, with the other brewers in the industry. They're actually just they're being who they are and just tasting beers from other breweries, and it's that kind of openness and friendliness, I guess, that makes the craft beer industry what it is. And it's a nice, marvelous, collaborative industry, and I think obviously not just with the collaboration beers that you get, but also it just helps the industry as a whole, I think, to have that kind of environment. The beers at the brewery were really good. I thought that they were a particularly modern brewery as well, and this is something that I was saying this to one of the guys at the Westerham Brewery as well, that prior to visiting there first time a few months back, I always considered them to be kind of an old-fashioned brewery. But going into the tap room a few months back and having some of their beers, and then going there today as well, and actually going into the kind of the brewery, where they're actually producing all the beers, and it's not the case at all. They're not an old-fashioned brewery. They're modern. They're forward-thinking, and I think that having those experimental beers today was very indicative of that. That they want to push the boundaries. They want to try to try new things. They're growing their own hops, for example, and not just relying on the kind of myriad of hops that are out there. They're actually trying to sort of do their own thing as well. And it really impressed on me that sometimes when you have this image of something, it's not always true until you actually visit, until you go down and have a look. You don't know what's really the real story is, and that I was very, very pleased to see that today. Thanks to the guys at Westerham Brewery for putting on a really good evening. Had a great time, enjoyed myself, drunk a lot of really good beers, and spoke to a lot of really interesting people about beer, which you can't really ask for more when you're a beer fan. So if you guys are close to Westerham, they've got a good tap room. It's open pretty much every night, I think. Go down there, try a few of their beers, and I think you'll agree with me that they produce some decent stuff. So thanks for watching. It's this video. Have a good evening, and if you want to see more of this kind of thing, then down below there, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll be back soon. I'm going to America in a few days' time, so that's going to be really interesting. I'm going to be trying lots of beers over there that you can't get over here. Certainly you can't get readily over here anyway. And I'll probably be doing a few vlogs from there. So keep your eyes peeled. And obviously, if you subscribe, you'll get it on your feed. So why do anything other than subscribe? So cheers, thanks very much, and see you soon.